Mainit na balita.
I'm just afraid that when the case of PhilHealth goes to your office for review, you might be charged with partiality or bias.
You're the COA. Are you speaking here now as representing COA or as a resource person?
As a resource person, Your Honor.
But is that correct? You're a sitting COA commissioner.
Your Honor, we are going through the records just as a witness for the records of COA, Your Honor.
But the way I'm listening to your arguments, you are defending the position of the DOF. So
For the
let me
implementation.
be clear. Are you speaking on behalf of the entire COA when you're speaking to the court now? Or are you speaking only from your knowledge as a COA commissioner?
As a COA commissioner, Your Honor.
So you're not here speaking for COA.
No, Your Honor.
Do you also audit the DOF?
We do, Your Honor.
Then isn't there a conflict of interest here?
Your Honor, we were requested, Your Honor, to discuss the records.
I know,
and the
but you're a sitting
definitions.
commissioner.
Yes, Your Honor.
Don't you think there is a conflict of interest here? You're espousing views. The contending views are to be decided by this court. And now a sitting COA commissioner stands before the court? I don't get it.
Ito ang nakakagulat na balita ngayon sa mundo ng politika. Sa patuloy na panggigisa ng mga mahistrado ng Korte Suprema sa respondents ng petisyon tungkol pa din sa di umano ay iligal na pagkuha sa pondo ng PhilHealth papunta sa National Treasury ay nagkaroon ng tensyon sa pagitan ng resource persons at mga mahistrado ng Korte Suprema. Sa kasagsagan nga ng pagtalakay ng mga maestrado ay hindi nga nila nagustuhan ang tila katakatakang pagre-representa ng commissioner pa mismo ng COA na si Atty. Douglas Mallilin bilang resource person sa panig ng nirereklamong partido. Bagamat mapapansin talaga na alam ng commissioner ang mga pasikot-sikot sa pinag-uusapang paksa ay mahahalata ang kanyang tilay pagkatig sa ahensya ng DOF kaya't na-call out nga ito ni Associate Justice Honorable Alfredo Caguioa. Pinalagan ni Honorable Caguioa na bakit ang isang nakaupong commissioner ng isang independent institution kagaya ng Commission on Audit ay tila tumatayong tagapagsalita at tumidepensa pa sa ahensyang dawit sa usapin. Halos magkandautal ang commissioner sa pagdepensa sa kanyang posisyon habang binubusisi ng maestrado kung ano nga ba talaga ang kanyang tunay na layunin at para kanino siya tumatayo sa pagdinig na yon. Napag-alaman din na ang nasabing commissioner ng COA na ito ay inappoint pala ng Administrasyong Marcos nitong February 10 lang ngayong taon. Sa huli ay hindi na lang siya pinagsalita pa upang maiwasan na rin magkaroon ng parsyalidad sa naturang usapin. Ating pakinggan ang naganap na argumento.
On the part of auditors, Your Honor, when we mention obligations, we refer, Your Honors, to the liabilities. If there are liabilities that have been set in 2021, assuming these liabilities get paid even in subsequent years, they remain to be liabilities, Your Honor, and therefore should not be reneged on. However, Your Honor, the nature of reserves is different from liabilities. Your Honor, the liabilities, if your hospitals would claim for benefits, then PhilHealth is obligated to pay. However, Your Honor, in the matter of reserves, which are set up provisions as far as the law is concerned, they are reserves, Your Honor, and do not necessarily partake of the nature of an absolute liability, Your Honor.
Yes. May I read the provision? Okay. Section 11, paragraph G. No portion of the reserve fund or income thereof shall accrue to the general fund of the national government or any of its agencies or instrumentalities, including government-owned or controlled corporations. And then, your basis, okay, what the provision, Section 1D of the GAA states is that government-owned or controlled corporations from any remainder resulting from the review and reduction of their reserve funds. Reserve funds. Reserve funds are sacred under Section 11. Reserve funds are untouchable.
If I may, Your Honor.
Yes.
Going back to my example a while ago, Your Honor, there is a difference between the accumulated revenues and the reserve. Section 11, Your Honor, of Republic Act 11223 mentions two terms: accumulated revenues, which is historically what you have as the difference between premium collections, subsidies, as against the normal operating expenditures or administrative expenditures of PhilHealth, but more importantly, the claims benefits. So the gap between these two from the time that PhilHealth was established is what we can, for simplification purposes, is the accumulated revenues. The reserve, Your Honor, is a different value. It says, out of the accumulated revenues, the first thing we have to disengage, as though it is not to be touched, is just ensure you have enough for current year's operations, just to make sure you're good for the next year. The next requirement is now the reserve, which provides a range between, it makes no mention, the law makes no mention of a floor, but it makes mention of a ceiling. So, going back to the example, Your Honor, if we have accumulated revenues of 450 billion, but we have a reserve set at 250, we have a gap of 200 billion, Your Honor. The restriction of Section 11 lies on the reserve. And that reserve, Your Honor, based on the law, is set by the board. But there is a guide, which is the actuarial computation. Therefore, Your Honor, if we go through Section 11, it says, keep the reserve inviolate. Don't touch. But that is the reserve, Your Honor. The reserve not to exceed maximum, the board, using its business judgment, sets it. Make sure you have enough for current year's operation, then that's it. But do not touch the reserve. Therefore, if the reserve or any income thereof can also be construed, Your Honor, where the reserve is not the accumulated revenue. If the reserve is 250 billion, any income of the 250 billion is something that cannot be returned to government. We now have to make a certain judgment, Your Honors, on what has not been reserved, but which is still part of the accumulated revenues, Your Honor.
Is it also possible that the reserve funds would be less at the end of the calendar year, less than the liabilities of PhilHealth, chargeable to the reserve funds?
That is possible, Your
Yes,
Honor.
that's possible.
Yes.
So, if that happens, where will PhilHealth charge the amount that cannot be covered by the reserve funds?
Your Honors, in a situation where your accumulated revenues is not even sufficient to cover your reserve, we have a situation where there is really no gap, where your reserves are your accumulated revenues. And this is one very good example where we have 2019, where the set reserve was to the tune of 360 billion, but the amount that we have solely for accumulated revenues was much less. So that gives us a picture of what can happen, Your Honor. In 2023, Your Honor, it was reversed. You have accumulated revenues to the tune of roughly 464 or let's say 2022, 464, but you have a reserve to the level of 280 billion. Your Honors, if we take a look at 280 billion, assuming we disregard actuaries, because even COA has not relied on the actuarial computation.
Okay.
If we use the rule of thumb and take a look at the historical claims benefits of PhilHealth, if I may, Your Honor, take a look at my figures. In 2021, Your Honor, the claim benefits, the total claim benefits, this includes direct contributors and indirect, amounted to 140 billion pesos. In 2022, and this is borne out by the audited financial statements, Your Honor, 143 billion. In 2023, there was an abnormal drop in the claim benefits to the tune of 74 billion. If we were to disregard actuarial computations and we were to set the maximum ceiling of claims benefits as the program expenditures, if we were to disregard 2023 being a very low number and just focus ourselves on 2021 and 2022, the sum of the claims benefits for these 2 years would be 283 billion, Your Honor, such that without digging further into the business judgment of the PhilHealth Board, Your Honor, the total of 280 billion, assuming that is the amount set up, and we go against 464 billion of the accumulated reserves of 2023, there seems to be a gap where the reserve of 2 years has been complied with, but the accumulated reserves or the accumulated revenues, which is not the reserve, is 464B, Your Honor. There is a gap between the two numbers, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Commissioner. Now, PhilHealth is not only obliged to provide reserve funds to pay off the claims of the beneficiaries and contributors. So, to say that a portion of the accumulated benefits or revenues may be considered a free portion. A free portion.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, or a surplus is possible only if all the programs mandated for PhilHealth to fulfill have been set up. Because PhilHealth is required to set up certain programs, like a fund to secure benefit payouts to members prior to their becoming lifetime members. Has PhilHealth complied with this?
Your Honor, the question...
You cannot answer that because you're not from PhilHealth.
I'm not from PhilHealth,
Yes.
Your Honor. But if I may, Your Honor, you make mention of the lifetime members, Your Honor.
Not the lifetime, yes, becoming lifetime members. Yes, because that is under Section 11 of the UHCA.
Yes.
PhilHealth has also must also set up the following funds. Has PhilHealth set up these funds before it declares a surplus?
Your Honor, the provision for lifetime members' benefits is likewise accrued, Your Honor. It is part of the ICL. It's a small part of the ICL.
It's a small part,
Yes.
but has it been set up?
It has been set up, Your Honor.
Where is your proof of that compliance? And then to fund a fund to secure payouts to lifetime members, a fund for optional supplemental benefits subject to additional contributions. These are all programs that are required for PhilHealth to fulfill. And then there is a comprehensive outpatient benefit, including outpatient drug benefit and emergency medical services, and to gradually and steadily, consistently upgrade the program of PhilHealth such that on its 10th year, the contributors, those who cannot afford, may no longer be required to contribute.
Your Honors, that would already dwell on the operations of PhilHealth.
Correct.
If I may.
That's why
Yes, Your
we're
Honor.
all about operations here.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, how can there be a surplus fund when the programs of PhilHealth required of it to set up under the law have not been set up at all? How can PhilHealth declare that it has surplus funds, aside from the fact that these funds are special funds for special purpose? Are the projects to be financed by the government for construction of the bridge, for maintenance of the roads? Is that a purpose that is akin or even related to the purpose of healthcare?
If I may, Your Honor, if we can let PhilHealth and the board answer and OGCC answer that, Your Honor.
All
it
right.
It goes beyond the
Anyway,
mandate of COA, Your Honor.
Mr. Commissioner, you have offered your wisdom. I'm just afraid that when the case of PhilHealth goes to your office for review, you might be charged with partiality or bias.
Your Honor, the process, as far as COA is concerned, Your Honor, we maintain our independence.
Yes, all
with
right.
regards to mandate.
So, Mr. Commissioner,
Yes,
your
Your Honor.
excuse. We don't want to burden you any further.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honors.
Yes.
Can I interject?
Yes, please.
Mr. Commissioner, you got appointed as a commissioner when?
Ad interim February 10.
2025.
Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. Ad interim, Your Honor.
And you're the COA. Are you speaking here now as representing COA or as a resource person?
As a resource person, Your Honor.
But is that correct? You're a sitting COA commissioner.
Your Honor, we are going through the records just as a witness for the records of COA, Your Honor.
But the way I'm listening to your arguments, you are defending the position of the DOF.
Your Honor, this has been a COA discussion also, Your Honor. And we have also reviewed this in light not only of this case, Your Honor, but
So
for the
let me
implementation.
be clear. Are you speaking on behalf of the entire COA when you're speaking to the court now? Or are you speaking only from your knowledge as a COA commissioner?
As a COA commissioner, Your Honor.
So you're not here speaking for COA.
No, Your Honor.
Do you also audit the DOF?
We do, Your Honor.
Then isn't there a conflict of interest here?
Your Honor, we were requested, Your Honor, to discuss the records.
I know,
and the
but you're a
definitions.
sitting commissioner.
Yes, Your Honor.
Don't you think there is a conflict of interest here? You're espousing views. The contending views are to be decided by this court. And now a sitting COA commissioner stands before the court? I don't get it. I really don't get it.
My apologies, Your Honor. I was requested to discuss the contents of the COA report, and objectively, this is part of our records, and we make the statement, Your Honor, based on this.
But you were not COA commissioner at the time these COA reports were made, right?
Yes, Your Honor. But we have the records, Your Honor, and just a matter of explaining what they contain, Your Honor.
Except that you're wearing too many hats. What hat are you wearing?
We apologize, Your Honor. I apologize, Your Honor.
May I, with leave of the Chief and Justice Ami, you mentioned that you discussed this among the members of the COA.
Yes, Your Honor.
So is there a special audit or a regular audit now of the transfer of funds? from the PhilHealth to government.
Your Honor,
So was there already a special audit or an audit?
no audit, Your Honor.
Okay, just to clarify.
Yes, Your Honor. This is, Your Honor, the 2024 audit will cover this, Your Honor, and our financial audit only starts this year,
Yes,
Your
because
Honor.
if there is no audit, then you are already expressing your opinions now, which we did not call you. You were offered by the respondents. And you did mention your opinion. And our fear is for you and for our co-equal constitutional body called the Commission on Audit, that it may affect the partiality. Just for you.
Thank you,
Thank
Your
you.
Honor. Thank you for that note. Well taken, Your Honor.
You are excused. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Justice. Thank you, Your Honors.